Morning, Crow.
Hello.
For the record, I don't have a problem calling it if you want to call it.
Oh, we'll see if anyone else shows up today.
Normally I have interesting topics to discuss. It's just I think I got food poison last night because it's been coming out of both ends since like 3 a.m.
Oh my.
Yep. One of those days.
Sad.
Got to stay away from the lemon garlic Parmesan bacon fries.
Yum.
It sucks when you start realizing you can't eat like a 16-year-old anymore.
Yeah, we're no longer invincible.
Yeah. I still try though.
Well, if you want to drop off, if you're not feeling it, that's fine. I'll hang out for a couple minutes and
No, actually, it helps me take my mind off stuff. Believe it or not, that's actually one of the big reasons why I joined OpenSSF was because usually at this time is when my stomach starts to act up, and I had that stomach infection last year. So I actually enjoy these meetings.
Well, all right. Open source is a balm to your soul.
Yeah, it is. In other news, we did get, like, we're more official than we've ever been with the SKF deal with LF. Yeah, we got the LOI signed yesterday by Jim, Glenn, myself, and Ricardo. So we're pretty much on the way. I mean, they told me that it should take maybe a week or two to get the quote unquote distinctive contracts in order. However, you know that I never shut up about OpenSSF. And even though LF has, let's just say, not been as excited about my commitment to OpenSSF, basically I got Tim. So just to kind of let you know, so Tim told me that because of all of this, LF is willing to put money into the education SIG. We just need to figure out what, like, in the plan, what is going to be done as part of our job, quote unquote, and what we're going to be doing on our own time, because we're all maniacs of OpenSSF.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I'm still waiting on the GB.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't taken any action yet. They're still trying to develop a process. That's actually a topic for the governing board later this week.
Okay. Well, just to let you know, because I know initially we were kind of sitting on, well, let's just donate SKF to OpenSSF and then they can put whatever money they want in it and whatnot. That was one option. But basically, one of the things we were talking about is keeping the SKF brand as a whole. So now the new option is, let's keep SKF, but let's figure out what OpenSSF wants to be done with it. And then let's figure out what, like, aligns with what they're trying to do, which is obviously their certifications. So basically, Tim wants to have a sit down. I think it would be wise to have a sit down with you and Glenn as well and go over that, so that I don't know if it needs to be done right now, but Tim would like to get that clarified as far as how much time commitment does OpenSSF need from the SKF team that will be paid for by LF.
Yeah. I guess we'll have to see if the plan gets adopted. That's our big kind of next step. Okay. So right now there's zero need for you, but ideally, if the GB loves it, there will be much higher demand.
Okay, and also just so you know, the new platform, Glenn is of the opinion that if Linux Foundation wants to integrate that all into their existing platform, that we'll just donate SKF, the new platform, to OpenSSF, and then you guys can pretty much do whatever you want with it. We still want to be involved, but
Yeah.
it's been made clear to us that, like, yeah, like, we're part of LF, we're part of core LF, and we have a bunch of responsibilities. And yeah,
Man, responsibilities are hard.
yeah. So I just wanted to say that, so that way you have that in mind, because they are willing to pay for part of it. It's just that that part needs to be clarified with Tim. Just saying.
Cool. Yeah, I'm available whenever.
Okay. If it becomes a bigger, I'll tell Tim that it's in the GB and that we can revise it after. But if he feels like it's a necessary for the distinctive agreements or whatever, which I don't think so, but I'll let you know.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I'm around.
Okay.
But
yeah, Tim is willing to pay for it. It's just, as I said, like, it's how much, because I know the labs are a big part of it, and I know that that's going to be part of LF. So I think that LF will pay for like the labs, but I don't know if they're going to be like open for anyone to access.
all right. I am trapped in this seat for the next 4 weeks because my work husband Jerry went on sabbatical, so I have to hold the fort down. So I'm around.
Wow.
So if Tim wants to talk, I'm around.
This isn't the same Jerry that invented the LF training program, right?
No, this is my chips and salsa Jerry guy.
Oh, okay. Oh, I love chips and salsa, man. I'm a big fan.
Well, thank you.
That and the security and happy hour are, I think, like, I have, like, if you look at my YouTube, it's all like chips and salsa, security, and happy hour.
Yeah, I got to try to rekindle the security on happy hour. See if we can get that rolling again.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually really like the security and happy hour. And if there's anything that I can do to help, the next thing I'm going to be working on is the Rust, a lot of Rust courses for LF.
Cool.
I just finished the Kubernetes security course, and I handed that off yesterday. So now I'm probably going to be on Rust.
Neat. I'm talking to a bunch of Rust people as part of the memory safety SIG now.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. I'm in that too.
Yep. All right, let's talk about SIRT.
Wait, I have a comment.
Sure.
Yes.
You want to welcome everybody to the certified most significant meeting of their day.
Oh man,
I've been waiting while you guys were chatting to make that joke this whole time.
Oh, actually, we do have something, Jonathan, that we could actually talk about with Crow about the CERT, which is your URL parser.
I'm going to use that if we get approved.
What, that line?
That we're certified.
Certified.
We're certifiable.
Certified significant.
That's right.
Yep.
So you had something
meeting today.
Yeah, actually, Crow, Jonathan found a pretty big error on the web.
Oh, no. I did not find this. I am just a messenger at this point.
Fair. But yeah, so the SKF team's been helping put together a POC because we found something of a coinky-dink in URL parsing.
Yeah.
Yes. I think Rob has been involved in this. You were in a meeting that I discussed this already, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So Luigi's been kind of chatting with about this, and I've been this is some research area that I've been curious about but it's basically like, hey, there are multiple URL parsers, and if you use one to parse a URL and create an allow list or deny list, and then you process that URL to make a request with a different parser, you can have bypasses and some history to it. And so I proposed to Randall and a couple other people that someone spend some time throwing together a multi-language portal to view all of the different URL parsers for a wide range of languages and display how they will like give it URL, and then all of the different parsers will dump out like these are how we parse our chunk of the, this is how it gets chunked by us. And just to visualize the problem and the scope of how varied the different parsers are. Yeah.
Well, and I recall you had a very mixed response when you were talking to some of the developers about this, right?
What about fixing it or about just identifying the problem?
About fixing it. Was it Pearl or somebody you had talked to?
Well, I mean, so the problem that exists is that the URL parser, right? There's an old spec, which is the RFC spec, and then there's the WhatWig spec, and the WhatWig spec is supposed to be a living document, but the model that WhatWig is kind of taking on is like they don't necessarily want to thrust an initiative upon people. It's more like this is a specification that defines the current way the world works, not the way we want it to be. Because their perspective is like a spec that's not actually implemented is meaningless. Which I respect. It's more, this spec is designed to be more reactive than proactive. But I think that articulating and visualizing the problem at least is a good starting point to give us a representation of like, how varied are these parsers across the industry. Pick a bunch of different languages, get Chrome's parser in there, Firefox's parser in there, C, Java, JavaScript, Python, get a bunch of different parsers in there, and then just visualize the problem, and then like that can help drive a discussion about, hey, like we've got this problem in the industry, and like this fundamental, I would call a URL a pretty fundamental building block of internet understanding is actually in and of itself deeply flawed.
So have you seen the work that Dan Applequist and a couple of us have been doing with the W3C, how we're having a workshop?
Nope.
This might be an interesting topic if you can get things together for that workshop. It's focused on, we're trying to bring secure supply chain practices to web developers, because there seems to be kind of a big disconnect with that community and cybersecurity in general. So we're trying to have a little workshop around that. And this particular topic could be of interest because we're going to have practitioners, actual developers, not just security wonks there. So it might be an interesting workshop topic to kind of walk through.
Yeah, I'm thinking that my role for this particular one will be a little more product managery and like vision driving and less actually implementing it. But what's the deadline on this?
Yes, I'll find out. Just give me a second. Randall.
So to add some more context, we talked to John Neal, who's kind of the person that put the whole SKF team together indirectly, because he put the Astro team together and he kind of put all of us together. Apparently this is a known issue. And apparently WhatWig, there's a member in WhatWig that I don't want to publicly name, but there is a very specific person that we need to get in touch with, because basically in the past, so someone already did a bunch of work to try to fix this problem. And long story short, basically WhatWig's response was, I don't see the problem, go take a hike. And basically that's a big part of the problem. So John said that he can help like bring this person to the conversation and help him understand what is wrong, but it's not like WhatWig doesn't know, and it's not like there hasn't already been 100 conversations. What John told me is that what we have to keep in mind is that WhatWig is the group of heavily opinionated folks that broke off of W3C. And without WhatWig, we wouldn't have HTML5. But at the same time, is WhatWig a easygoing group of people that'd be like, oh, you found an error, good for you? No.
I like working with passionate people. Makes the day go by interesting. I put a link to the workshop. The call for papers is due the end of April.
Let me also
something
say
to think about if we want to put something together around this parser
Let
issue.
me also say this, because I already have something. If you guys look at this link, This was the URL parser that was recently implemented in Rust like 2 weeks ago. And what we did is we took this, Jonathan, we kind of tweaked it so that it basically works in WASM, and we were doing it that way. That's the POC that we did this weekend. And we also tried your URL, and it actually spits out the same problem. So it is vulnerable to, essentially, when you do the double slash, it'll just spit out something entirely different.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I want, just, I don't know if WASM's the right solution for this, because you have, like, if you want to include other languages like Java and Go and Python and all that stuff.
Agreed. What we're doing, because Okiki works at Vercel, Okiki is trying to figure out if Vercel would be willing to sponsor this so we can use Vercel edge functions for this.
All right, cool.
If not, I know that our friends at Microsoft have our backs
Sure.
well with Azure. So
Cool.
Just so you guys, I don't know if that qualifies as a paper crow, but like, we are working on a POC that actually illustrates the problem.
As a very dear friend of mine told me once, knowing is half the battle.
Yes.
Knowing you have a problem is partway on the solving it.
Right. That's why I thought, like, let's write it. Let's get it documented so that if we can demonstrate the problem, then we can talk about it. But if we don't have something to represent the problem, then yeah.
And for the record, Jonathan, I think we can compile just about anything to WASM, but I do know there's a couple of languages in there that don't like it. And I know that we really basically had to re-implement the parser in WASM to make it work, but it does work. And I mean, it is browser based, so there's no edge function, but it would be nicer as an edge function, I think, personally. Not to mention that you're not going to get into, well, you guys modified it because you had to make it WASM, so this might not even be the real thing. So that's
the biggest thing that I'm concerned about. Also, if you have an API behind it, like if you have an API, you have a website that you can like give, normal people, but people that want to like run their own tests and maybe automate those things, if you have a solid API that they can use, that's just like, give me this, and then here are all the languages that get, then independent research can go on around that topic.
Right. But now going back to SIRT Crow, the reason I'm bringing it up is I don't know if maybe the SIRT can help us report this, or how we could go about getting more eyeballs, because that's one thing that John said, is that if we're going to try to fix this problem, we got to prove to W3C that it is a problem, or not W3C, but WWIG, that it is an actual problem that they need to correct.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that eventually the team could help out with. Right now it's just a handful of us showing up to a couple calls, so no one's doing anything yet. But I think it's definitely something worthy that within the ideal mission of the team was to try to help coordinate this type of stuff. So I think it would probably fall in scope.
Fair, cool. So yeah, that's always bringing it up.
At least to try to identify the people that need to be involved in the conversation and try to broker some meetings about it to talk through it and how it might be solved.
Agreed. And I know Dan has a bunch of contacts, and I know John has a bunch of contacts as well. So in this particular area.
But today we're just an unfunded group of hobbyists hanging out.
But
yeah. Let me know how it goes, how we might be able to help out. And then, I would again consider submitting something to that workshop. I think that's a good topic we should have. That sounds like exactly the target audience of people we want to talk to, is the web developers.
What is the workshop, virtual, or where is it?
It is going to be in London. I know that they are thinking about, there will be allowing remote viewing. I don't know about remote presenting.
Well, we got Fuzzy over there in Scotland, so
look at that shit. Have Fuzzy drive down.
That's what I'm thinking about. Guys will end up talking about parliamentary politics, but whatever.
All right. Well, do we have any other topics to talk about today as our SIRT enthusiasts. The initial questionnaire you were using, Randall, as you were walking around talking to folks.
Yep.
Could you potentially drop that into the agenda at some point, and maybe next time we'll actually work to refine it, and then maybe take some actions to start to divide up our list of people we wanted to talk to and start to approach folks once we get a good set of questions together.
Yeah, absolutely. I will do that. I will drop it in this afternoon.
Awesome.
I'll drop it in the Slack and then I'll drop it in the notes.
Cool. That'd be good. Did we have any other topics related to the SIRT we wanted to discuss? All right. Well, thank you. Hopefully the GB will, it's being talked about at the governing board that there are these funding things and they're working on the process. So hopefully we'll get some traction in the next month or so on all the requests.
Awesome.
All right. Well, you gentlemen enjoy the rest of your day. I'm sure I will see one or two of you in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thanks, Grob. Thanks, Jonathan. Thanks, Art. Bye.
Wait.